Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moonlight Channel, a channel that advocates for the youth, uplifts those who are disadvantaged, and basically we are the voice for those who would like to be successful, but for some reason you are finding yourself in a bind, somewhere where you can't get out of, having issues mentally, physically, emotionally, or anything else. Well, this is the channel where you come to get inspired, and we're here for you. On that note, we invite a guest who has accomplished a lot in his life, or a guest we can learn a lot from. And today's guest is someone I look up to a lot. I can't even express how much or to what extent, but this gentleman is someone who has not only done a lot in his life, accomplished a lot in his life, but also he has raised a family of strong individuals with values, and he has served his country with honors for an extended period of time. And this gentleman today, I can't even begin to complete his CV or his resume, other than letting him speak for himself. And this gentleman is my friend, my neighbor, whom I consider so far like a father that I never had, Carl Wilkins. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much.
With that introduction.
I appreciate it. I mean, I can't find really enough words. It's just like, I have people I look up to. I've been with you for a while. Not only you're my neighbor, but also you're a friend, and you're somebody that I look up to, definitely. And like you've seen in my other videos, I've never known my father. So if I see someone that I can consider as my father, I think about what my father would have been like. So kudos to you, and thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
Yes, sir. So we designed a few questions here to go over with Mr. Carl, just to inspire some people who would like to follow in his footsteps. But another thing is that basically you can also learn from what he went through briefly, or what he's gonna talk about, and that can trigger your career. That can inspire your path in moving forward, and inspire you not to actually stay in that darkness that you find yourself in. To begin the questions, Mr. Carr, can you briefly describe your career path?
Certainly. When I graduated, I went to high school and elementary school in Baltimore, Maryland.
Wow, so you're local.
Yeah, I'm very local. I lived in one of the communities that they consider today, bad, crime-ridden,
Yes.
and poor community.
Yes, sir.
But when I was coming up, it wasn't. We didn't know we were poor. By our standards, we wasn't poor.
Yes.
But if you listen to the news media and everything, today that area would be considered a bad or poor area. So I went to high school, Douglas High School, and it was predominantly a black high school. I would say 98% black.
Yes.
At that time, I was unsure when I was about to graduate what career path I was going to take.
Yes, sir.
We didn't have the guidance counseling that you have today. They just asked you what you want to do, and that was it. They didn't give you any counseling where give you a solid direction of where what your path in life could be. So I decided I didn't have grades for college, and I really never thought about college, because when I came up, I didn't know anybody that went to college. My family, nor my neighborhood. Only people I knew that had attended college were, like teachers and,
Yeah.
professional people that you encounter when you're a kid. So I joined the Air Force. I heard that the Air Force they give you opportunities that you wouldn't normally get, say, in civilian life, as far as direction. I didn't know what I wanted to be, and when you first join, they give you a series of tests to see what your aptitudes are. When I joined, I thought I was going to be a medic, but they determined through my battery of tests that I would be more suitable to go into the law enforcement field.
Okay.
I had no idea that I had that aptitude for law enforcement. Because growing up where I grew up, that's the last thing you wanted to do.
Absolutely, I understand. That's why I thought it was funny.
Right.
Yeah.
So they put me in. It was air police or air security. What we did a combination of law enforcement and base security. In other words, Air Force bases have personnel and equipment, airplanes, and our job was to protect that and to enforce military laws on the base.
Okay, like discipline.
Yes,
Okay.
It's the same thing that a policeman would do in civilian life.
Okay. Sort of military police.
Yeah, it's military police. Okay. Yeah. But we were called Air Police, and then we changed the name, or they changed the name to Security Police.
Okay.
In the Air Force, I was fortunate to join at a time when the Vietnam War was starting up. I had no idea that, because that war had been going on since 1956, but we were advisors during that time. What they said, advisors, you would go in and you would train the personnel.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be in active combat with the enemy, but you'd just be like a supportive type background. So I joined the Air Force, and they put me in a security Air Force field. After I was 18 when I went in. So after 2 years in the Air Force, the war really pumped up in Vietnam. So they sent me to Vietnam, and the things that we did there, the same things in the state, like base security. I was involved in combat, which was unheard of at that time for the Air Force.
Yeah.
And after Vietnam, I was wounded, and they.
So sorry about that.
Oh, that was, I'm here.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate. A lot of my friends that were there with me at the same time were just fortunate. Anyway, after the Air Force, I started to pursue a civilian career. I knew that I was getting out. I enjoyed the Air Force, but I felt like I had more potential in civilian life. And I joined the DC Police Department. Wow. I did very well on the DC Police Department.
The nation's capital police.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
Well, in the DC area, you have 26 different police departments within DC.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And we were the main police department as far as the city was concerned. Then you have the White House Police, you have the Capitol Police. So all those different police forces. After I retired from the DC Police Department, I went out on disability. Then it kind of opened the door for me to pursue other things that I really wanted to do in life as a kid.
Yes.
I thought I was an artistic person. I love to draw and I love to do things like that. But being in the law enforcement field, I didn't get an opportunity to do that.
Right.
And I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when I got out, that opened the door for me that I could pretty much do anything I wanted to do. I then I was involved in clothing, the clothing business. I became manager of clothing stores, male and female. I sold real estate.
Wow.
I was an electrician, so I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I ended up getting involved in the beauty field, and I really enjoyed that. That was really my creative outlet. And I had several hair salons. When I retired from that, I went into the IRS, and that's when I completed my career.
Wow, that is that is very inspirational. Moving from black community, pretty much considered as being under poor standards, and going to high school, law enforcement in the military, in the Air Force, police officer in the DC department, but also being an entrepreneur, owning several businesses. That is a career path that definitely would inspire somebody. What would you like to tell someone who's listening to you, especially youngsters, the youth, or even adults now who would like to do something but they don't know what kind of guidance or what kind of path they should follow? Because obviously you've done a lot, but what kind of advice would you like to give someone like that?
First of all, you have to believe in yourself.
Yes, sir.
Don't believe what someone tells you that you are. You know what you are. Believe in your dreams. You follow your dreams. I think it's very important to understand that there are so many career fields, and there's so many things that you can do. This, no matter what people say, this is a great country.
Absolutely.
And you can, there are obstacles. Like there are obstacles in your family life. There are obstacles in your professional life. But you have to overcome those obstacles. And you do that, first of all, you have to educate yourself. You have to educate yourself on what's out there. If I could do it all over again, I would have been more proactive as far as seeking professional counseling, as far as career counseling. And that's readily available today for young people. You have, first of all, we didn't have the internet. There's so much information on the internet where you can seek that advice, and you can compare, and you can talk to people. You can listen like podcasts, or like you have going on now, and you can look up to people that have been there.
Yes.
You get your education.
So basically what you were saying is that had you known before, or if you were able to go back and change your career or make decisions, you would have basically gotten from other people experiencing specific fields that you wanted to follow.
Yes, and if you don't know what field you want to follow, like I mentioned before, look at podcasts, look at the internet, do all kinds of research on your own. Talk to people. If you see a policeman and you think you might want to go into law enforcement, go to the police department. You see an officer on the street, ask them questions. If you want to go into IT, you have a relative like yourself in IT, talk to them and ask them. You don't know unless you ask people.
Absolutely.
And most people are willing to help you. So just don't assume or say, well, I can't do that. I don't think I can do that because I don't have this or I don't have that.
So what you're trying to say is that people should rather get education before getting a career as opposed to the other way around.
Yes. And a lot of people don't have the ability, like I didn't have the financial ability nor the grades to go into college. But things are different now. You can, like I said, if you don't have the funds available, the military is a good resource for that because they pay for your education. And whatever time you're going to be in there, you can take classes and you can seek out counseling.
So, if I understood you correctly, the whole meaning behind what you were saying is that kids now have more opportunities than back in your days when you were growing up in the Baltimore area. So therefore, they don't have any kind of excuse as far as if you come from poor community, or if you come from disadvantaged community. Does that mean that there shouldn't be any kind of excuse because you have all this information available to you?
Well, I wouldn't make it so harsh, like no excuse. I think of it more in terms of how people, like you holding yourself back
Right.
when you're seeking out reasons why you shouldn't do something. I didn't have a father figure. All the reasons like people cite on TV and you hear them, I did this because I didn't have a father figure. I did this because I grew up in this area. To me, those are just obstacles that you're creating yourself to hold yourself back. And they're so readily available for failure. So what I would tell the youth of today, yeah, sometimes you're not dealt the best hand, but you turn that into, if you get a lemon, you turn it into lemonade.
Absolutely.
Because you could use some of the same disadvantages that other people consider disadvantages. But to me, that's knowledge.
To get ahead.
To get ahead.
That is well said, and that's what I've been trying to say, and tell people, in this effort or initiative that we're trying to use to help others. It's not about how you start; it's about how you finish.
Exactly.
So it's a harsh environment to be in. Worldwide, everybody goes through all those issues, but we should use that to actually educate ourselves and move ahead and try to better ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People. I mean, you can use. I could just reach out and grab all kinds of reasons why I can't, or why I didn't achieve certain things. Oh, my skin color, because I'm black, because I grew up. To me, it seems like all of those things that people are talking about today molded me into the person I am today.
Exactly.
And people can't take that knowledge away from you. That's one thing people can't take away is what you have up here.
Absolutely. I like the way you put it, because sometimes when I was a kid, I used to be sad the fact that I didn't have. I had a dad, except that I've never been fortunate to meet him. The fact that that was the case, and then the fact that I grew up the way I grew up, surrounded by poor conditions and stuff like that. But as I grew up, even though I still feel like I would have been happy for my kids to meet my father, their grandfather, I feel like I can actually accomplish what he wasn't able to accomplish, and just I look at it in a positive way. So I feel like as hard that can be, it can also be turned into a positive at times.
Oh, definitely. You look at it, a lot of the so-called fathers today,
Yes.
because you have a male in the house that brought you into this world doesn't mean that he's a father
Yes, sir.
or a good father figure. And sometimes I don't know how my father would have been, because he was very young when he died. But I had a strong mother
Yes.
that raised me. And so I didn't really miss anything. Only time I really think about it is when I hear other people talk about the father, or I see the fathers. So what I did, how I tried to compensate, I tried to be a good father myself.
Yes, sir.
And I tried to fill that void for my kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is very inspirational, and I hope our viewers, especially the youth and all those who are feeling some type of way as far as their goals or career or life in general is concerned. For answering all these questions, personally, you my inspiration. Here I am sitting with you, my neighbor, my friend. Looking at our backyard in here. It feels so peaceful. So thank you for being, kind enough to, inspire us. And by us, I mean myself and the viewers, and actually worldwide, not just here in America or in Rwanda, in Africa, whatever. But I can't just finish this interview without asking you how much you know about Africa in general and Rwanda in particular. And I'm asking you this because I'm originally from Africa, but specifically in Rwanda. How much do you know about that area, basically?
Okay, I'm giving you, I'll start, say when I was a kid. Okay.
Yes.
You get very little education as far as Africa. In the school books, the geography classes, you don't get that much knowledge, or you don't get that much information. Unfortunately, when I was coming up, a lot of the information that we got was negative information.
Yes.
And I had to educate myself. Really, I was fascinated by the geography and by the resources that I learned on my own.
That's right.
Because you can't rely, and by me traveling the world, I gained knowledge of a lot of countries that I visited. Wow, and that's another advantage of being in the military. You get to see, excuse me, you get to see the big picture. I've always been fascinated by Africa. As far as Rwanda itself, the knowledge, unfortunately, the knowledge that I gained was through you. And being as educated as you are, being as versatile as you are, it inspired me to want to visit there. So basically with this podcast, for the young adults, the kids, and adults out there, they should tune in more to you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, I know you traveled a lot, and because of your career and everything. And my recommendation would be, whenever you can, when it's possible, I myself would like to take you to Rwanda, spend a few weeks there, and enjoy. It's a green country, just like what you see here, and except that it's like almost a year long, and we got great food, got great music, got great people, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy. And I personally am going to make sure that happens. And, definitely, and it's a great country, full of pleasant people. As you can see, look at me, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being, inspirational figure to everybody, including myself. And hopefully, this conversation is going to help people out there, from humble beginnings to wherever, the heights over their careers are. But hopefully, I'm gonna talk to you again in the future in a different platform. Who knows?
Okay.
Thank you so much. And,
Thank you.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Moonlight Channel. We thank everybody who tuned in, everybody who were kind enough to support. And thanks to Mr. Carl for giving us his time. And thank you for all the support, all the you know, behind the scene, support that you provide us. And thank you for my producer, my videographer, my photographer, my niece Elsie. Thank you for everything that you do. I'd like to thank my wife for her support as well, for letting me even do this while she's taking care of our daughter. So thank you for watching. Click subscribe and comment anytime to the Moonlight channel, and see you next time for another wonderful episode that is going to inspire you. Peace.